This hat is about the CN Tower in Toronto, Canada, which, when it was completed in about 1977, was the tallest freestanding tower in the world. Since that time, it's been surpassed, but the whole point of it is the tower. This is a rejigging of a lecture that was made by Prince Ludwig of Bavaria on our channel quite a long time ago. And I'm not going to do it the same way this time. Prince Ludwig is not available. So it's going to be me, Harry Weaver, the narrator, who's going to talk about the tower. Now, Prince Ludwig touched upon how the tower is also the tower card in the tarot deck. And I also remember the great metaphysical writer Stuart Wilde talking about the tower. In his own way, he said the tower basically is, well, people are in the top of the tower, and then the next thing that happens is they end up fools on the grass. The tarot cards are the journey of the fool through all kinds of situations, and each situation is represented by a tarot card. And it seems like the fool has got kind of a circular path. He goes through all the cards in the tarot deck, and then he does it again, and then he does it again, and then he does it again, and then he does it again. So it's a good question. I'm not going to address it here. Please jot it down, someone. What happens? Does the fool ever stop going through the fool's journey? Another journey that also comes to mind is an old book. It was a Christian book called Pilgrim's Progress. And it's basically the journey to heaven. And the pilgrim has got to go, well, it's just like the tarot deck. It's got to go through a lot of situations. And, the present state of the world that we're in right now, planet Earth, is not heaven. It is a place that you can definitely find in the book Pilgrim's Progress. Specifically, a big part of what we have in this world now is the corporations and the businesses, money laundering, loan sharking, gambling, everything to do with money, and, settling down in your own little plot of land. This is not the place you're supposed to stop if you're a pilgrim on the way to heaven. It's a place you're supposed to you shouldn't even visit this place, really. It's like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. But it's going to illustrate some points for us that, it is a journey that the pilgrim is taking, and he does have a destination in mind. With the tarot deck, I'm still not quite sure. It's not really clear to me what the real destination of the fool is, other than to just repeat the cycle endlessly. Anyway, back to the Tower card. And the topic I wanted to talk about was making things happen. Some other people might call it being the rainmaker. And, in the business world, making things happen is a prized asset. If you think about professional sports, if you've got somebody who can make things happen on whatever the playing field is and whatever sport it is, you've got a great asset there. Not going right back to the tower, I'm going to go to another item, and that is why Abraham Hicks is a pile of crap. It's not so much that it's illogical It's a pile of crap because it doesn't reflect reality. I mean, the Abraham character is not even a human. So you're getting advice from a discarnate, which is basically either a dead person or I don't even know what else besides a dead person. A discarnate is somebody who is not in the physical form. Unless they're living on another planet and they're sending telepathy to, well, isn't Jerry Hicks dead? So it's the partner or whoever they're doing it. But anyway, the whole point is that this information is not coming to you from a human. Hello, I'm a human. So is my information better? Don't say that. Don't say that. Because that would be um, somebody who's a bodyist, like there's homophobia, sexism, racism. That would be somebody who's like a carnate because I'm incarnate or something. So it doesn't mean that I'm going to give you a better truth than Abraham Hicks. But I'm going to tell you anyway my opinion. And my friend often reminds me that opinions are like assholes, everyone's got one. So take it with a grain of salt. Nevertheless, my opinion is Abraham Hicks' teachings on vibration are totally, they're not part of our reality. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because in my own experience, it doesn't work. And I know they've sold so many books and they've had so many seminars and they've got YouTubes and probably a web page and all these people who are just dying to get this information into their little noggins so that they know, well, if something's happening and, it's your fault. The Abraham character is also a proponent of this idea that you create your own reality. And he also mentioned in the little lecture I listened to today the idea that there are thought forms, and this I do agree with. So it's not like I disagree with everything they say, but this one I was very pleasantly surprised that at least they got this one right. And in this case, he was talking about um, thought forms that were floating above bridges in San Francisco, and some of these thought forms, if you drove through along the bridge and you drove through the thought form, you would get the ideas that are associated with this thought form. That is correct. That is correct. And he didn't mention it doesn't matter what your vibration is. He didn't mention vibration at all in that particular piece. He just said the reason we are feeling this way is you drove across the bridge and there's had been earthquakes in San Francisco. So there's fear thought forms around these bridges. He didn't talk about people's vibration. He said it was a thought form and you drove through it. That is correct. See, he contradicts himself, this Abraham clown. But as far as raising your vibration, I don't know. I mean, it's like there's so many so called experts that talk about raising your vibration. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean, I'll give you the best example ever. If vibration was true, then why is it that in the Bible, Jesus was in the same talking to Satan? Satan, like the ultra low vibration entity, is talking to Jesus, who is at the top of the heap of vibration. If those two can have a conversation, hang out, sorry, your vibrational theory is garbage. We also have an identical thing in the Buddhist story. Buddha had the demon Mara. Buddha way up in vibration and Mara really low vibration. So Abraham, you're full of shit. You're so full of shit. I mean, there's two best known examples on the planet. It doesn't cut it. So if you're an Abraham Hicks person and you're throwing this at people because they're having a bad time of it, I'm sorry. The truth of the matter is you're full of shit and you're just propagating Abraham's garbage. So throw your damn vibrational medicine, raise your vibration, problematic because of your vibration. You're blaming the victim, okay? You're blaming the victim, and that's another faux pas. You don't blame the victim. You can go and look to see if they've got something going on with like codependency, or they're living in a really bad neighborhood, a series of unfortunate events, but don't say it's their vibration. In the end, that's all I'm going to do for this particular video. But if you can contradict what I've got to say, how Buddha had to deal with Mara and Jesus had to deal with Satan, I don't know. You're just going to say, well, I don't know, but what can you possibly say? Try and top me on that one. Now stop talking about Abraham Hicks. It makes me want to barf and punch you in the nose and kick you in the balls because you're lying and you're propagating lying and you're hurting people by telling them this garbage. You're blaming them for things, and they don't need that. They need a lot of support. And this is not supporting them. This is cutting them off at the knees with a machete. So stop doing it. I'm Harry Weaver.